I realized today I've never made a video about this guy. So that's what we're doing. We could do like the cue the B-roll or something like that. You know, some YouTuber slang type thing where you're like, cue the B-roll. And then it like cuts into the B-roll of the lens doing something and like some shots of it. I don't think we're gonna do that though. A lot of videographers and photographers have this lens in their bag or some sort of variation of it, you know, a 24 to 70 or a 24 to 105 or even a 16 to 35. They always have a 35 somewhere in there. That's just pretty much because it's a very common focal length and it just looks good. 35mm prime lenses are popular picks for filmmakers for many of the same reasons they're loved by photographers. The natural framing, great balance between the focal point and background separation, and the overall versatility of the 35mm focal length are just some of the reasons why this lens is pretty great. The 35mm focal length is more versatile when shooting indoors for its wide field of view and capturing more scenery when outside. Talking head interviews, gimbal work, run and gun weddings, you name it, the 35mm focal length can handle it. So why the Sony 35mm f1.4 G Master lens? Why not? This lens is sharp, wide, and has an aperture of f1.4 for great bokeh and low light, which just screams versatility for the use cases I needed it for. It is light and shorter and has a great feel in the hand, and it really just makes me want to pick it up and use it. With this lens weighing very little at 1.16 pounds and a length of 3.78 inches, it makes me gravitate to this lens when I'm looking for what to take with me on a trip or on a shoot. It's just nice and light and easy to pack. If it's nicely in a bag attached to a camera already, if you're on the move, or if you build out your kit for video, it feels right at home. And an ND or a matte box attached to it, you're ready to go. And we'll talk about a few of the positives real fast for me. First off is the smooth aperture ring. I love these new Sony lenses that come with this, where you have f1.4 to f16 on this lens specifically. And I really love how you can do really nice iris pulls, and it's just super easy and smooth when you're on the run, just to use this instead of the thumb wheel, because that looks kind of choppy, whereas this is just a very smooth and nice and fluid motion when you're trying to get your exposure correct. Big fan of that. Click on and off switch, which, let's be real, is always off for me specifically. But when I use this in photo mode, I might put it in manual or click in and run it that way too. Versus nice and smooth and quiet. Makes it nice. One of the other things I really love about this lens is the focus hold button, which, you know, a lot of these Sony lenses have focus hold buttons, so it's nothing spectacular anymore. But on this specific lens, it's nice to have. I always set this button to my manual focus. So I'll tap this, and then I'm in manual focus, tap it again, and I'm back into autofocus. So that's so I can grab something real fast, autofocus, tap it, and I'll keep it in focus then, as long as it's not walking towards me or something like that. And it works pretty well. Another great feature, the autofocus, manual focus switch. Again, all these Sony lenses have this, makes it really nice. Just pop that back and forth between autofocus, manual focus. I like to keep it in autofocus, and like I said, just tap that, or sometimes, yeah, I may do that too, where I just set it in manual and just run it that way. Depends on what I'm shooting. Comes with a nice lens hood. I don't use the lens hood all that often. That's the wrong lens hood for it. Where's the right one? It's over there. But anyway, you get the idea. Same type of lens hood. This is for the 50-1.2, but it's got this nice rubber ring around it, and it's matte on the inside. It's the exact same lens hood, just different size. Just grabbed the wrong one. It's over there. I just don't want to get back up and go through my mess of cables and lights and things like that. Another positive of this lens is the minimum focusing distance. 0.89 feet. Anytime a lens has minimum focus under a foot, I always love that, because there's two things you can do. One, I've got a macro tube set I can attach onto this, and I can like basically touch the lens with whatever I want to focus it onto. And two, already just out of the box, I can get really close to my subjects if I need to. You know, if I want to fill the frame with somebody's face and I want to get nice up and close with them, or if I'm trying to get a close-up shot of something detailed on a product, it just makes it nice having close focus. On a lot of these newer Sony G Master lenses, the color and contrast is amazing. It looks great. They're very clinically sharp, so you're not going to get that filmic type feel out of them where there's some blooming or highlights or things like that. It's clinically sharp. It looks clean, and that's awesome if that's the look you want. Sometimes that's great if you're doing some more corporate or things like that. But if you're looking for more of like an image that you're like degraded image or something along those lines, this isn't really going to give you that. You can create that look obviously in grading and you know, editing, but out of camera it's going to be pretty clinically sharp. Is that a good thing? Yes and no, just depends on what you're looking for. Let's talk about some of the negatives real fast of this lens. I really only have two. One of them is the focusing issue, and this is kind of resolved in the FX6, the A7IV. I think those are the only two cameras now that have that focus issue or focusing fix where it crops in on the sensor a little bit and gets rid of that focus hunt, which is awesome. And I really wish that the A7S3, the A1 would come out with that firmware update as well. Sony, you're not listening to me. I'm too small of a person to do this, but you need to update the A7S3 and the A1 with that update. You have to. Like, you can't leave us out in the dark like that. It just would make it so nice to have that feature in these cameras to be able to get rid of that focus hunting. So this is pretty much a manual focus lens only for me when it comes to video, which is fine because I prefer manual focus when I'm shooting video anyway. But there's some caveats to that. You know, sometimes it's nice to be able to set this in front of somebody, have eye autofocus on like I have right now, set it and forget it, and just let it do its thing because it tracks well. There's no breathing, there's no hunting. 24-105, it's just a solid lens. Obviously I've done a video about that in the past. Check it out if you'd like to. But the image that I get out of this, I really do like it. And I'll trade out these lenses here in a second so you can kind of see and know that there will be some focus hunting when I put this on there. And you can kind of see what it looks like. The color's not going to change because the 24-105 f4 is a great lens, and you're going to see there might be a minute difference in sharpness, but you're not going to see much of a difference. These lenses are just awesome as they are. Besides the autofocus issue, the only other thing I would think of was the OSS that this does not have. Obviously, it's a prime lens. There's not a lot of prime lenses that have optical steady shot in them, which is, again, understandable. Would it be nice? Hell yeah, it would be. It'd be awesome in these wider lenses to have some steady shot built in. I know it would make the price a lot more, make them heavier, bigger, things like that, but you know, sometimes it makes sense to have that. So that's one of those things. Overall, I really do love this lens. Even though I have a few caveats, like I stated before, it just works well. And I love the image that it produces. I say that about all my lenses, but that's because I chose them for a reason. I've chosen them because they do produce good images. I rent them, I test them, I see if I like them, and then I purchase them. I've owned this lens once already. I sold it because I was very apprehensive about the autofocus issue. But as I've grown and learned that, you know, manual focus is probably a better thing to use anyway, I got it again because I love it. I love the focal length. I love the prime feel and the prime look, and it does a great job at what it's designed to do. And it's sharp, and it's beautiful what it can produce. The only other thing I could think of is getting the 35 1.8. You know, you would have saved probably $600, I think. I think they're 7 something, so maybe you're saving 600 to $600, $700, $800 maybe for a lens that doesn't have an autofocus issue. It's f1.8, still great. It's a G lens, not a G Master, which tell me the difference. I mean, I know it's coatings and weight and aperture rings and things like that. You're gonna be happy with either of those lenses, the 35 1.4, the 35 1.8. You can't go wrong. That's that. Hopefully you got something out of this. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Maybe you want to go buy this lens, maybe you want to buy the other lens. I don't know. I just thought to myself, let's make a lens video about the 35 f1.4 lens that you just got recently again. And let's talk about the positives and negatives of it. So that's what this is. This is that video. So that's it. I'm gonna end this video now. No more talking. Thank you for watching. Make sure to hit that like button. Thumbs up if you want to. Subscribe if you haven't. That'd be awesome. No pressure. I always like to say that, no pressure. I'm not here to pressure you into subscribing, guilt you. No, not me. Do it if you want to. Do it if you like my content. Do it if you want to support my channel. Do all the YouTube things. Like button, subscribe. Comment down below if you have a question about it. Love to answer those. Try to get back to anyone who writes me as fast as I can. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy yourself out there making whatever you make. And we'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.